To think that somebody was here 5,000 years ago organising this, and to think we can come now and witness what they planned, that is a miracle. I think it must be as close to immortality as you could hope to get. To build something and have people come along to watch it in perfect working order 5,000 years after you've lived.
Find out what's happening here at the mound now, we spoke to Professor O'Kelly.
Well, the monument, as you have heard, is 4,000 years old and now needs some repairs. We should do some
enormous curbstones, some engraved with swirling patterns that seem to dance with ancient meaning. The true purpose of the structure has remained elusive ever since. Was it a tomb, a monument to the dead, or did it serve a far greater purpose? The monument is enormous, standing 12 meters tall and covering over an acre. Its construction required an estimated 200,000 tons of stone and earth. Some of these stones, weighing up to 10 tons each, were transported from quarries up to 80 kilometers away. Without modern machinery, how did ancient builders move such massive stones, and for what purpose?
How did this great big stone and so many of them get up here?
We think that many of these big stones were lying about on the land surface since the end of the Ice Age.
At the heart of Newgrange is a narrow passage leading to a central chamber. This passage aligns perfectly with the rising sun on the winter solstice. For a few brief moments, the sun's rays illuminate the chamber, casting light on the stone carvings within. This celestial alignment is no accident. It suggests that the builders of Newgrange possessed a sophisticated understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering, an astonishing achievement for a culture from 3200 BCE. The carved symbols, spirals, lozenges, and circular motifs further add to the intrigue.
I think you can see here this panel of zigzag or chevron ornamentation.
Scholars have debated their meaning for centuries. Are they simple decorations, or do they hold a deeper significance? Some suggest that the spirals might represent celestial patterns, an ancient map of the stars. Others believe the carvings may have been used to track the movement of the sun and moon, creating an early calendar system. But perhaps Newgrange wasn't just an observatory. Some researchers suggest it could be the earliest known attempt to map the cosmos, a structure designed to help its builders navigate the heavens. It raises the question, how did people in an era before written records possess such precise astronomical knowledge? The accuracy with which Newgrange was built has sparked intense debate. The positioning of the passageway so that the sun reaches its innermost chamber on the exact day of the winter solstice seems almost impossible to achieve without advanced tools. Did the builders rely solely on generations of careful observation, or might they have had access to lost knowledge? Some speculate that Newgrange is the product of an advanced, forgotten civilization, one whose understanding of the cosmos and engineering far surpassed what we thought possible for the time. In the nearby Boyne Valley, other monuments such as Noath and Douth also show striking astronomical alignments. These sites appear to form a connected complex, with each monument playing a role in a grand cosmic design. The region may have been a center of celestial observation, with its monuments serving as more than just tombs, but as places of knowledge, perhaps even communication with the stars. The transportation of massive stones across great distances adds another layer of mystery. The granite slabs, some weighing up to 10 tons, were quarried from sites 80 kilometers away. The builders' ability to move these stones without modern technology remains an unanswered question. Did they use basic tools, or could they have possessed techniques that have been lost to time? This leads us to one of the most tantalizing ideas surrounding Newgrange, the possibility of a global connection between ancient structures. The precision seen at Newgrange mirrors that found in other megalithic sites, such as Stonehenge in England and the pyramids of Egypt. These monuments, spread across continents, all show extraordinary astronomical precision. Could they be part of a larger ancient network, linked by a shared purpose? Perhaps even a shared origin? As we delve deeper into the mysteries of Newgrange, we are left with more questions than answers. Some suggest that these monuments were part of a prehistoric effort to chart the cosmos. Others propose more radical theories that the builders were influenced by an unknown advanced culture, or even extraterrestrial beings who shared their knowledge of the stars with early humans. While these ideas remain speculative, the mysteries of Newgrange continue to captivate researchers. What if the purpose of Newgrange goes far beyond our current understanding? Could it hold the key to unlocking a forgotten chapter of human history, one in which our ancestors were far more advanced than we ever imagined? As our exploration of Newgrange deepens, we begin to see it as more than just a tomb or a monument to the dead. The precise alignment of its passage with the winter solstice suggests that it may have been used as a kind of Stone Age observatory, a tool for tracking the sun and the stars and possibly much more. Let's examine the carvings once again. The spirals and other motifs may not be random decorations. Some researchers have proposed that these designs represent the movement of celestial bodies, early attempts to chart the sky. If this is true, then Newgrange could be one of the oldest star maps in existence, created by a culture that sought to understand their place in the universe through the study of the heavens. But Newgrange is not the only site where these motifs appear. Similar symbols have been found on ancient monuments across the globe, from the deserts of the American Southwest to the mountains of Peru. This raises a fascinating question. Were these cultures, separated by vast distances, somehow connected? Could they have shared knowledge of the stars, despite the geographical barriers? One of the most intriguing aspects of Newgrange is the possibility that its builders possessed knowledge that has since been lost. How else can we explain the precision of its construction or the complexity of the carvings? Some researchers suggest that there may have been a forgotten civilization, one with a profound understanding of astronomy and engineering that passed this knowledge down through generations. In recent years, new technologies have allowed scientists to take a closer look at Newgrange. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed hidden chambers and passageways beneath the surface, suggesting that the monument is far more complex than previously thought. What secrets might these undiscovered areas hold? Could they provide further evidence of the monument's astronomical purpose? Nearby, the mound at Noath adds to the intrigue. This site contains over 200 decorated stones, making it one of the largest concentrations of megalithic art in Europe. Like Newgrange, Noath shows evidence of astronomical alignment, with its passages oriented toward both the equinoxes and the solstices. These sites may have formed a kind of prehistoric observatory complex, where ancient astronomers gathered to study the movements of the heavens. But the mysteries don't end there. Some theorists believe that the purpose of Newgrange and other ancient monuments has been deliberately hidden. They argue that the true nature of these sites has been suppressed by modern institutions, fearing what it might reveal about the origins of human civilization. If Newgrange truly is a star map, what does that say about the level of knowledge possessed by its builders? Could the alignment of these ancient monuments with celestial bodies be evidence of a forgotten age of exploration, an era when humans sought to map not just the Earth, but the heavens as well? Or is there a more profound explanation, one that challenges everything we thought we knew about our ancestors? As new discoveries continue to emerge, one thing is certain: Newgrange is a monument to a forgotten people who understood the universe in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. The more we learn about this ancient structure, the clearer it becomes that its secrets may hold the key to understanding our place in the cosmos. What other revelations await us as we continue to explore Newgrange and its sister monuments? Could this be the world's first star map? A gift from an advanced civilization, or perhaps even a message from beyond our world? The mystery continues to unfold, and with it, our understanding of the past grows ever more. might have been used in an era long past.
That is one of the mistakes in looking for a quote-unquote advanced civilization in the past, is that we tend to be looking for ourselves.
The Gornaya Shaurya megaliths, sometimes referred to as the Shaurya megaliths, are a series of massive and mysterious stone structures located in the southern Siberian region of Kemerovo province. This part of Siberia, known for its rugged and forested landscape, forms a continuation of the mountainous belt that includes the famous Altai Mountains, stretching into Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and China. The harsh Siberian climate, marked by severe winters and brief summers, coupled with the mountainous and densely forested terrain, makes archaeological expeditions to this area particularly challenging.
The huge areas of the Earth where only minimal archaeological investigations have ever been carried out. I get it, it's a very tough place to work, and besides, archaeology has the view that there's not much to find there.
The megaliths didn't attract significant academic attention until the 21st century, despite earlier mentions by local historians and enthusiasts during the Soviet era. The shift in interest came largely due to the increased availability of information online and the efforts of local explorers like John Jensen and Dr. Valery Uvarov.
I recognize some patterns that appear to be man-made or at least non-natural.
Their publications and photographs, which highlighted the scale and precision of the megaliths, spurred wider interest and debate, although the area remains underexplored in formal archaeological terms. The physical attributes of the Gornaya Shuria megaliths are particularly striking, dwarfing even the largest stones used in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, which weigh around 80 tons. The precision with which these stones are cut and aligned, exhibiting flat surfaces, sharp angles, and tightly fitting joints without mortar, suggests an advanced level of engineering skill. This craftsmanship is reminiscent of the famous Inca walls in Cusco, Peru, where similarly interlocking stones have withstood centuries of seismic activity. A comparison is often drawn with the walls of Sacsayhuaman in Cusco, Peru, another site known for its high-precision stonework.
Incredible megaliths there, which archaeology gives entirely to the Incas, even though the Incas themselves recognized and honored the work of predecessors.
Both the Gornaya Shuria and Sacsayhuaman sites display an extraordinary level of stonework that challenges our understanding of ancient engineering capabilities. However, the sheer size of the stones at Gornaya Shuria makes the site even more perplexing, raising intriguing questions about the logistics of stone transport and manipulation by ancient builders. The Gornaya Shuria megaliths have captured the imagination of many, but they also offer a fascinating case study for geologists who propose that these giant formations could be entirely natural. Various geological processes, particularly those involving glaciers and tectonic activities, might explain their formation without needing to invoke theories of human or extraterrestrial involvement. During the last ice age, massive glaciers moved across landscapes, carrying large boulders known as erratics far from their original quarries. As these glaciers retreated, they left behind these huge stones. Additionally, as the ice moved, it could polish and create striated marks on the surfaces of these rocks, contributing to the smooth and flat appearances that some of the Shuria megaliths exhibit. This is not uncommon in other parts of the world where glacial activities have shaped the terrain. Beyond glaciation, the processes of weathering play a significant role. Chemical weathering, where the rock interacts with the environment, can dissolve weaker materials in the stone, leaving behind angular blocks that might appear artificially carved. Meanwhile, the freeze-thaw cycles typical of Siberia's harsh climate cause the rocks to crack and break naturally along lines of weakness, forming the angular structures observed today. The region's intense seismic activity also contributes to the megalith's mysterious shapes. The area is prone to movements in the earth that can fracture bedrock, creating sharp, angular formations that mimic the appearance of quarried stone. These natural fractures, caused by faulting and the pressure of tectonic forces, suggest a plausible explanation for the megalith's geometric precision. As tectonic forces lift and fold rock layers, pressure release can also occur, leading to a process known as exfoliation. This causes the rock to break off in sheets or segments, forming large, flat slabs that might look like the work of human hands. An interesting parallel can be drawn with California's Devil's Postpile National Monument, known for its symmetrical hexagonal columns of basalt formed by the slow cooling of a lava flow and subsequent contraction cracking. This site exemplifies how complex and regular structures can form through natural geological processes, demonstrating that the precise and orderly structures we see at Gornaya Shuria could also be the product of dynamic earth processes. Not only have the Gornaya Shuria megaliths captured the interests of geologists, but also ignited a flurry of archaeological theories. Some researchers propose that these vast stone structures are the product of an advanced yet unknown ancient civilization. This theory is supported by the megalith's precise cuts and alignments, which imply the use of sophisticated stoneworking technologies that surpass those known from other ancient cultures of the same era.
Are we looking at the traces of a forgotten episode in human history? I think so. I think that's what's going on here.
These observations lead some to speculate about possible cultural and technological exchanges between distant civilizations, suggesting that the builders of the Gornaya Shoria megaliths could have been part of a widespread network. This network might have facilitated the spread of architectural and engineering skills across vast distances, much like how architectural styles were shared along the Silk Road. In addition to these mainstream archaeological views, there are several alternative theories that touch on more unconventional narratives. One such theory suggests that extraterrestrial beings could have influenced the creation of the megaliths. Proponents of this idea argue that the scale and precision of the stonework exceed what would have been technologically feasible for humans at the time, drawing parallels to other mysterious ancient sites like the Nazca lines in Peru, which feature designs that are best viewed from the air. Another intriguing hypothesis posits that these megaliths were the work of a now-lost civilization that had access to advanced technologies for manipulating stone, construction, and possibly even geolocation. Technologies that were superior to those of known ancient cultures and which could have been lost following a cataclysmic event like a massive flood or volcanic eruption, reminiscent of the legendary Atlantis. A comparison with the Baalbek temple complex in Lebanon, particularly the Trilithon, offers further context. The Trilithon features 3 massive stones, each weighing between 800 to 1,000 tons, meticulously placed upon rows of smaller blocks.
This is called the Trilithon. Each of these 3 blocks weighs 900 tons.
The similarities in scale and construction techniques between Baalbek and Gornaya Shoria raise additional questions about the ancient capabilities in quarrying, transporting, and assembling such enormous stones. Just as the precise alignment of the blocks at Gornaya Shoria suggests advanced engineering skills, the Baalbek stones are also fitted with such precision that not even a piece of paper can slide between them. This remarkable precision across both sites suggests a sophisticated understanding of stonework that challenges our perceptions of ancient engineering. The Gornaya Shoria megaliths pose significant challenges for researchers and archaeologists attempting to uncover their secrets. The region is famously difficult to access, characterized by dense forests and mountainous landscapes that are tough to navigate. The climate further complicates research efforts, with harsh winters that bring heavy snowfall and freezing temperatures, limiting fieldwork to the brief Siberian summer months. The nearby settlements offer limited resources, making it challenging to support sustained scientific activities. Accommodations, roads, and communication facilities are all less developed, which is essential for conducting large-scale archaeological excavations. This lack of local support, combined with a general prioritization of resources towards more well-known sites, means that Gornaya Shoria often remains overlooked in broader archaeological explorations. The discovery of Easter Island by European explorers is a story filled with intrigue and remarkable historical details. It was the Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen who first came upon Easter Island on a quest for the mythic southern continent. His arrival on the island, which coincided with Easter Sunday in 1722, led to its modern name. Roggeveen, commanding a fleet of 3 ships, the Arend, Tienhoven, and Afrikansche Galie, was the first to document the mysterious Moai statues and the island's sparse vegetation. The statues, massive and imposing, puzzled Roggeveen and his crew, who wondered about the methods the islanders used to transport these colossal figures, given the apparent lack of sufficient timber or robust ropes. The name Easter Island reflects a common practice of the time, naming newly discovered lands based on significant events or days, which also expanded European maps of the Pacific and fueled further exploration and eventual colonization of these remote areas. Easter Island's discovery not only marked a major geographical milestone, but also piqued European interest in the Pacific Islands. Easter Island's extreme remoteness is one of its most fascinating aspects. Located in the southeastern Pacific Ocean, it is one of the most isolated inhabited islands on Earth. The original settlers, the Polynesians, were skilled navigators who likely arrived around 1200 CE. This isolation had a profound effect on the island's ecology and culture. Initially rich in flora, human settlement led to significant deforestation, altering the island's ecological balance. Over centuries, the isolation shaped a unique cultural evolution, marked by distinct architectural and artistic achievements, including the creation of the moai. These statues were not merely artistic expressions, but were integral to the social and religious life on the island, embodying ancestors and serving as protectors of the communities. Moreover, the island's location made it an ideal place for astronomical observations. The Rapa Nui, like other Polynesians, were adept at celestial navigation, using the stars to guide their way across vast oceanic distances. This skill underscores the significant navigational capabilities required to reach such a remote destination and maintain a society there. A comparison that highlights the extent of Easter Island's isolation involves Tristan da Cunha in the South Atlantic Ocean. Like Easter Island, Tristan da Cunha is extremely remote, located over 2,400 kilometers from the nearest continent, Africa. However, Easter Island's isolation is even more pronounced, with its closest inhabited neighbor, Pitcairn Island, over 2,000 kilometers away, and the nearest continental point in Chile nearly double that distance. This comparison not only emphasizes the vast distances involved, but also the remarkable navigational skills that allowed the Polynesians to settle and thrive on Easter Island, profoundly shaping its unique cultural and ecological development through centuries. The moai statues of Easter Island are not only a testament to the island's rich cultural heritage, but also stand as some of the most iconic archaeological features in the world. These statues were primarily carved from volcanic tuff, a type of compressed volcanic ash sourced from Rano Raraku, a volcanic crater which doubled as a quarry. This material, though softer and easier to carve, required delicate handling to avoid damage. The native carvers used tools made from a harder type of rock, basalt, known locally as toki, to shape these magnificent figures. The diversity in size and design of the nearly 900 moai is striking. They range from modest figures about 1 meter tall to towering giants that reach up to 10 meters and weigh over 80 tons. Some of the unfinished statues at the quarry suggest that the moai could have reached even greater sizes, with the largest estimated to be about 21 meters tall. These statues were not just isolated pieces of art, but were typically mounted on stone platforms called ahu, which lined the island's coastline. Far from mere pedestals, these ahu were sacred sites, often embedded with burial chambers for the elite, and were central to the spiritual and communal life of the Rapa Nui people. Interestingly, not all moai face inland, while the majority do, overseeing the villages and supposedly watching over their inhabitants. Some face the ocean. This orientation may have had different symbolic or practical purposes, such as marking territorial boundaries or serving as navigational aids. The most spiritually significant aspect of the moai was their eyes, made from coral with either obsidian or red scoria pupils, inserted only during special ceremonies to imbue the statues with mana, a spiritual force believed to protect and benefit the community. These imposing figures represented the deified ancestors of the Rapa Nui, believed to provide spiritual strength and maintain a connection with the spirit world. More than mere representations, the moai were considered actual embodiments of these ancestors, imbued with a potent presence. The construction and erection of these statues likely served a competitive function among the island's various tribal groups, with leaders, known as ariki, sponsoring these statues to establish and legitimize their authority and to demonstrate their ability to mobilize community resources. Moreover, the moai played a significant role in unifying the island's population, with shared religious beliefs and communal participation in their construction and transport reinforcing social cohesion and cultural identity. It is enlightening to compare these statues to the colossal heads sculpted by the Olmec civilization in Mesoamerica. Like the moai, the Olmec heads were massive stone sculptures representing human faces, carved between 900 BCE and 400 BCE. These heads are believed to portray rulers or other significant figures, fulfilling roles of political or religious symbolism similar to those of the moai. Despite being created by cultures separated by thousands of kilometers and many centuries, both the moai and the Olmec heads underscore the universal use of monumental statuary to express power, authority, and religious significance across disparate human societies. This comparison highlights the remarkable ways in which different cultures have utilized monumental sculpture to convey and preserve their legacies. The Moai statues of Easter Island are not only a testament to the island's past civilizations, but also a window into the impressive capabilities and daunting challenges faced by the Rapa Nui people. These iconic statues were meticulously carved from volcanic tuff, a material sourced from the Rano Raraku quarry. Artisans used basalt stone tools to carefully outline and then gradually detach the moai from the rock face, a painstaking process that could span months or even years depending on the statue's size. Transporting these colossal figures to their final resting places on the island's Ahu was an engineering feat that continues to fascinate historians and archaeologists today. Several theories have been proposed about how the Rapa Nui might have moved the moai. One theory suggests the use of wooden rollers, which would have required significant deforestation. Another posits that the statues were placed on sledges that slid over logs or greased wooden tracks. However, perhaps the most captivating theory is that the statues were walked to their locations using ropes in a rocking motion, a method supported by recent experimental archaeology. These experiments have successfully demonstrated that a replica moai could be moved by a few dozen people using ropes, providing evidence that this could explain the minimal wear on the bases of transported statues and the absence of extensive drag marks. As the demand for larger and more statues grew, the environmental impact became increasingly severe. The extensive use of wood for transport methods contributed to deforestation, exacerbating soil erosion and reducing the island's capacity to build canoes, essential for fishing and transportation. This environmental strain, coupled with intense social demands to build and transport these massive figures, likely put considerable stress on the social fabric of the island, intensifying competition among clans and leading to conflicts and warfare. The situation worsened with the arrival of Europeans in the 18th century, who brought with them diseases to which the Rapa Nui had no immunity. This, along with the removal of some moai by European explorers and colonists, severely impacted the island's demographic and cultural landscape. Amidst these challenges, an interesting theory emerged suggesting that the construction of the moai was a form of ecological overreach. This theory posits that the competitive construction of ever larger statues led to unsustainable practices, such as the overharvesting of essential natural resources. This ecological overreach may have triggered a vicious cycle of environmental degradation, resource shortages, social upheaval, and population decline, serving as a stark reminder of the potential consequences when cultural ambitions clash with environmental limits. This narrative underscores the delicate balance between cultural achievements and ecological sustainability, a balance that, once lost, can lead to the decline of an entire civilization. Have you ever imagined a world where the icy expanse of Antarctica was once a lush, verdant jungle? The Piri Reis map, a mysterious cartographic relic crafted in 1513, might hold clues to such a forgotten past.
The Earth's climate was very different from how it is today. There's undoubtedly a time when Antarctica was lush and green.
Renowned for its astonishing precision and enigmatic depictions, this map intriguingly includes what some believe to be the coastline of Antarctica, mapped out centuries before its official discovery. This discovery raises tantalizing questions. Was Antarctica once free of ice, teeming with dense forests and diverse wildlife? And could ancient maps like the Piri Reis offer proof of Earth's dramatically shifting climates and landscapes?
From time to time, the entire outer crust of the Earth, like the skin of an orange, might shift. If that happens, Antarctica could have been in warmer latitudes and could have been shifted into colder latitudes.
Join us as we delve into the secrets preserved within ancient maps, exploring a world vastly different from our own. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Piri Reis map is its depiction of a southern landmass connected to South America by a narrow isthmus.
I think we're looking at hints and clues that something is missing in our story.
This portrayal includes detailed geographical features like mountain ranges, bays, and inlets that bear a striking resemblance to the subglacial topography of Antarctica, as it might appear without its ice sheet. These details are speculative yet align curiously well with modern seismic data, despite the fact that this area was not officially discovered until 1820 and not accurately mapped without ice until much later with advanced seismic equipment. This unusual depiction on the map suggests that Admiral Piri Reis may have had access to source maps of remarkable antiquity and accuracy.
It's based on more than 20 earlier source maps. That he put all these maps together and derived his own map from these.
The theory surrounding the Piri Reis map opens a captivating chapter in the study of cartography and ancient civilizations, intertwining historical mysteries with speculative archaeology. This fascinating map, far exceeding the geographical knowledge of its time, has led some to propose that it might be based on sources from a pre-glacial era, potentially crafted by an advanced maritime civilization. Such a theory not only challenges our understanding of historical timelines, but also sparks broader discussions about the sophistication of ancient societies. The hypothesis of advanced ancient mariners suggests these navigators possessed the technological expertise to travel vast oceanic distances and create precise maps of their voyages. This level of proficiency would necessitate a deep understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and physics, attributes that are evident in civilizations renowned for their astronomical prowess, such as the Maya and the ancient Egyptians. Moreover, the widespread myths and shared architectural styles across distant ancient civilizations, such as pyramidal structures in Mesoamerica and Egypt, hint at a possible global interaction facilitated by seafaring skills.
I believe that it's worth considering the possibility of a remote common ancestor, which passed down key information that was inherited by later cultures.
These connections could indicate that these societies shared more than just architectural concepts, perhaps even cartographic information. Continuing with archaeological parallels, the legend of Atlantis as described by Plato, of a technologically advanced civilization lost to the sea, echoes this theory.
Ooh, archaeologists hate the word Atlantis. Because they've proved that Atlantis could never have existed, even though they have not looked at the parts of the world that need to be looked at.
While often regarded as a mere myth, the story of Atlantis resonates with those who theorize about prehistoric cultural exchanges mediated by a seafaring civilization. Such narratives provide a metaphorical framework that some scholars use to conceptualize real yet undiscovered advanced maritime societies. Another compelling site that aligns with this theory is Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey.
Huge enclosures under the ground that they haven't excavated yet. The story of Göbekli Tepe is just beginning.
Dated to over 10,000 years ago, this site features sophisticated megalithic structures that predate Stonehenge by thousands of years, challenging conventional views on the development of early human societies.
It's going to require us to reconsider our whole dating sequence on megalithic sites around the world.
The complexity of Göbekli Tepe suggests that advanced societal structures and knowledge systems, possibly including navigation and map-making, could have existed much earlier than traditionally accepted. Additionally, mysterious underwater structures like the Yonaguni Monument in Japan add to the speculation about advanced prehistoric civilizations. These formations, controversially interpreted by some as man-made, might represent remnants of a sunken civilization that had sophisticated maritime technology. Such underwater discoveries continue to fuel debates and curiosity about the extent of prehistoric human achievements and their capabilities to navigate and understand the world around them. It's fascinating to consider how archaeological discoveries could provide a foundation for legends of advanced ancient civilizations. This integration suggests that stories of seafaring gods and heroes, such as Poseidon or Gilgamesh, might not just be mythical tales but could actually represent cultural memories of real historical figures from a globally connected ancient world. Take, for instance, the Vinland map, which surfaced in the 20th century and is purported to date back to the mid-15th century. This map includes a depiction of Vinland, a region of modern-day North America's northeast coast, famously associated with Norse explorations around the year 1000 AD. The controversy surrounding the map's authenticity, particularly debates fueled by conflicting scientific tests on the ink and parchment's age, adds a layer of mystery. If genuine, the Vinland map would be the earliest known depiction of the Americas, predating Columbus's voyages. Another intriguing comparison is with the Kangnido map, a pre-modern East Asian map from 1402, created during Korea's Joseon dynasty. This map predates both the Piri Reis and the Vinland maps, and shows a generalized view of the known world at that time, including an oversized China and India, and a recognizably outlined Arabian Peninsula. Reflecting the Joseon dynasty's keen interest in geography and its diplomatic relationships, particularly with China and Japan, the Kangnido map underscores the historical significance of cartographic knowledge in facilitating trade and diplomatic missions in East Asia. Unlike the controversial aspects of the Piri Reis and Vinland maps, the Kangnido map is well documented and recognized for its historical accuracy within the scope of contemporary Asian knowledge. These maps not only showcase the cartographic skills of their respective cultures, but also highlight the global nature of medieval exploration and the interconnectivity of various societies through trade, exploration, and possibly even shared mythologies. As we delve deeper into the history of cartography, it's clear that maps from different cultures and eras offer unique insights into the geopolitical and philosophical mindsets of their creators. For instance, the Ming dynasty maps from early 15th century China, such as the Daming Hun Yi Tu, which is an amalgamated map of the Great Ming Empire, showcase an impressive level of detail and scope. These maps presented the world from a distinctly Chinese perspective, centering on the vast expanse of the Ming Empire, while also extending to parts of Africa, Europe, and the rest of Asia. The cartographic techniques used were advanced for the time, incorporating grid systems and a consistent scale that European maps only started to use inconsistently much later. Unlike many European maps focused extensively on maritime exploration, the Ming maps prioritized land masses and political boundaries, reflecting their primary use for administrative and imperial purposes. Imagine a time long before the majestic pyramids of Egypt ever touched the sky, a time when early humans were just beginning to leave their mark on the earth. Nestled in the rugged landscapes of southeastern Turkey lies Göbekli Tepe, an awe-inspiring archaeological site that predates Egypt's ancient wonders by over 6,000 years. Uncovered less than a century ago, Göbekli Tepe challenges everything we thought we knew about the dawn of civilization, suggesting that the blueprint for advanced human societies was drawn up not in the shadow of towering pyramids, but within the mysterious stone circles of the world's first temple. Göbekli Tepe's strategic location in the Jurmas mountain range not only offers a stunning panoramic view of the expansive Harran Plain below, but at an altitude of about 760 meters, it also provides a naturally defensible position. This area is historically significant, having played a key role in the dawn of human civilization. The site was first encountered in 1963 during a survey by Istanbul University and the University of Chicago, but its true importance wasn't immediately understood. At that time, archaeological methods primarily focused on identifying sites that showed obvious signs of settlement or fortification. Göbekli Tepe, with its large, freestanding stone structures that lacked any residential or defensive characteristics, did not meet these criteria. The visible limestone slabs, enormous and roughly worked, were mistaken for natural formations or primitive grave markers rather than elements of an advanced structure. This led to its initial dismissal as a site of medieval or even older graves without further investigation. Moreover, there was a cultural bias towards sites that could be linked to known historical narratives or civilizations, and Göbekli Tepe's carvings and constructions did not immediately suggest any connections with the well-documented Mesopotamian cities or other known ancient cultures of the region. The site's fortunes changed in 1994 when Klaus Schmidt, an archaeologist known for his expertise in Neolithic sites, revisited the overlooked mounds. Schmidt, having previously worked at Navali Sori, a site with similar, albeit less sophisticated T-shaped pillars, recognized the potential significance of Göbekli Tepe's unique pillars. He saw that these were unlike anything found in Neolithic settings at that time. Starting in 1995, Schmidt directed systematic excavations with a meticulous approach aimed at understanding the cultural context of the site, rather than just cataloguing its artifacts. He proposed that the monumental stones were part of early ritualistic practices, a theory that shifted the narrative of prehistoric research. Following Schmidt's death in 2014, the excavation and research at Göbekli Tepe have continued under the guidance of the German Archaeological Institute and the Sanliurfa Museum. Their ongoing efforts have been crucial in piecing together the site's complex use over time. An often drawn comparison is between Göbekli Tepe and Stonehenge in England. While both are megalithic structures from the Neolithic period, Stonehenge, which was built around 3000 to 2000 BC and features astronomical alignments, is significantly younger than Göbekli Tepe, which dates back to around 9600 BC. This nearly 6,500-year difference highlights Göbekli Tepe's place as one of the oldest temple complexes ever discovered, suggesting that the capabilities and cultural practices of early Neolithic societies were far more advanced than previously believed. Unlike Stonehenge, which served as both a burial ground and for celestial alignments, Göbekli Tepe appears to have been used purely for ritualistic purposes, with no evidence of permanent settlements or burials. This indicates that monumental religious structures could have predated settled agricultural life, challenging previous assumptions about societal development during the Neolithic era. Radiocarbon dating at Göbekli Tepe offers a captivating look into the early Neolithic period, identifying it as one of the earliest examples of monumental architecture. The site began construction around 9600 BCE, at the close of the Pleistocene epoch, a time marked by significant climatic changes that likely spurred the development of agriculture and more settled societies. This transition from a hunter-gatherer existence to agrarian life is pivotal in understanding human evolution. Göbekli Tepe wasn't built overnight. It evolved through multiple construction phases over centuries. Each phase tells a story of different eras and uses, reflecting varied ceremonial or social functions. Signs of intentional burials of earlier structures at the site suggest complex ritualistic behavior, hinting at a sophisticated understanding of religious or cultural practices. The architecture of Göbekli Tepe is both monumental and unprecedented for its time. The site is composed of multiple enclosures, each centered around T-shaped pillars arranged in circular and rectangular layouts. This suggests an early form of architectural planning, aimed clearly at serving ceremonial or ritualistic purposes. The pillars themselves are believed to represent human figures, as evidenced by carvings of arms and hands, suggesting they portrayed deities or ancestors. In addition to the anthropomorphic pillars, Göbekli Tepe is adorned with a variety of motifs. Dynamic and realistic depictions of animals such as foxes, lions, scorpions, vultures, and cranes suggest a deep familiarity with the local fauna. These carvings, alongside abstract and geometric symbols like concentric circles and zigzag patterns, may have held spiritual or cosmological significance. Human figures also appear in the carvings, often emphasized with exaggerated features such as arms or belts, possibly representing mythical figures or ancestors. These motifs were likely central to the site's function as a ritual center, with animal depictions possibly serving as clan totems or spiritual protectors. Göbekli Tepe is known to house more than 20 temples, although only a few have been fully excavated. The use of ground-penetrating radar and other survey methods has identified these structures, but limited excavation has been intentional to preserve the site's integrity and allow for ongoing research with advancing technologies. The construction of such massive and intricate structures would have required a highly organized effort, likely involving communities from across the region. This suggests a level of social organization and cooperation previously not attributed to societies of that era. This continued effort to understand Göbekli Tepe helps us not only preserve its historical significance, but also gradually unlocks the secrets of our ancestors' way of life, providing invaluable insights into the dawn of human civilization. Çatalhöyük, another Neolithic site in Turkey, provides a fascinating contrast to Göbekli Tepe. Dating back to around 7100 BCE, Çatalhöyük is regarded as one of the world's first urban centers, known for its densely packed cluster of houses without streets, where entry was typically through the roofs. Unlike Göbekli Tepe, which seems to have served exclusively ceremonial purposes with no signs of permanent settlements, Çatalhöyük was very much a lived-in community. This distinct difference underscores the varied aspects of Neolithic life, illustrating Göbekli Tepe as a center for ritual and gathering, while Çatalhöyük represents aspects of domestic life and urban organization. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe has profoundly impacted our understanding of early human societies and their development. Traditionally, it was believed that significant architectural projects emerged only after the onset of agriculture, when societies became more sedentary and had the resources to build complex structures. However, Göbekli Tepe challenges this notion by suggesting that such large-scale constructions might have predated and even possibly encouraged the development of agriculture. The site's need to assemble large groups for rituals or communal activities might have been a catalyst for innovations in food production and storage, accelerating the shift towards agricultural societies. An intriguing theory about Göbekli Tepe is its potential use for astronomical observations. Similar to how Stonehenge is aligned with solstices and equinoxes, it is believed that the circular enclosures and T-shaped pillars at Göbekli Tepe might have served as a prehistoric observatory. Such astronomical alignments would have been crucial for tracking seasons, which is an essential element in the transition to agricultural life. Comparing Göbekli Tepe with Easter Island's Moai also offers insights into the role of monumental architecture in ancient societies. Both Göbekli Tepe and Easter Island feature large, stone-built structures with anthropomorphic elements. The Moai statues are thought to represent ancestors overseeing their descendants, much like the T-shaped pillars at Göbekli Tepe may symbolize mythological beings or clan ancestors. The requirement for complex societal coordination to construct these monuments suggests that, despite being worlds apart, both sites served similar functions in their respective societies, facilitating social organization and fulfilling religious or ceremonial needs. This parallel underlines a common thread in human civilization: the use of monumental architecture as a focal point for community and spirituality.